He's the rare guy who's been retired from the NFL for a few years and still fits, it appears, into the same clothes that he wore while he was in the NFL. Malik Jackson is with us, everybody.
Let's go. Hey, guys, I'll take that as a compliment. I appreciate that.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys, they walk in, they've lost 100 pounds or they have gained 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that could be the same Malik I used to see back in the locker room.
I got cheekbones now, and don't ask me to get back out there because I tried to do some running the other day and my calves are killing me. So, yeah.
Well, you're older now.
Exactly.
We all age like that. Let me see that ring, by the way. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
So right
The
there.
Super Bowl 50. You know, it's the 10-year reunion of the Super Bowl 50 team, and we have a event this weekend going back to Denver. And also, it's pretty fitting that the Super Bowl's in San Fran, so it's kind of cool, just full circle.
What do you remember most from that season and that run and beating the Panthers?
Really just a few things. The camaraderie, right? The way we were as a team, the way guys got together, ate together, the fights we had, but the brotherhood we had, too, to get over it. And really, for me, that was my contract year, right? So I was really fighting to be one of the best and put myself in position, which is what I did. And so, yeah, it was just fun, man. You know, you walk around the house now or just take walks with my dogs and think about those days and giggle and truly appreciate them.
You talk about the fights you had. I was around that team some. You had some characters in that locker room. You had, obviously, Vaughn's on that team. Mm-hmm. Talib is on that team. Mm-hmm. Chris Harris, who's not quite as out of his mind, but also still a big presence in the room. Mm-hmm. What's one that stands out? What's one thing where you guys had to work through that season?
It's kind of what you spoke on, right? Just all those characters, all those identities, right? All those emotions going around. Because it's funny, when Keeb came in, you know, you see Chris Harris kind of get a little more boisterous right back there. You know, D. Stew's back there, T.J. Ward. So really, Roby. So really just saw those guys really get more boisterous. And I think that was it, right? Everybody had an opinion. Everybody was right. But then, you know, when Coach came in and Coach Wade came in and gave us the game plan, everybody was on the same page.
One of my favorite stories from that Super Bowl, which, I mean, you guys dominated defensively. It was a terrific defensive performance. So that was also known for, after the game, Cam Newton walking off the podium in the middle of his media session. So the way that this was set up, and you might have been in that room as well, there was just a sheet. It wasn't a wall. So both teams are in one room, and there's just a sheet separating the podiums. So I'm on one side of the sheet talking to Chris Harris. Mm-hmm. Unbeknownst to me, Cam is sitting on the other side of the sheet. I asked Chris, it looked like you guys basically just were trying to take away the run. And he's go, that's what we want to do, is make you throw the ball. Mm-hmm. Can you throw the ball? Mm-hmm. I then see the video of Cam walking off, and I hear myself ask the question and Chris's answer, and that's why he walks off the podium.
Oh,
hey.
But also remember that. Wow. But that was the plan in that game. Was basically we are not going to let Cam Newton and that run game run on us. We're going to make you put it up in the air.
Yeah, because back then they were doing a lot of play action, right? Get them out the pocket, max protection, and so we took that as a challenge. We're going to keep in 5 to 7 guys. We're going to add to it and let our DBs do their thing. So I think Cam had 3 hours to really show himself and get out there and prove us wrong. And luckily that day we had the best game plan and the best team.
Peyton Manning in 2013. Through 55 touchdown passes was unbelievable. 2015, he was not the same guy. He missed time. He had the foot injury. Osweiler plays for a while. Peyton eventually comes back in. He couldn't throw the same way. It was kind of like a T-shirt cannon where it's it would pop and it would just kind of float to the receiver there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Peyton Manning story from those years?
My favorite, it's funny, right? Because I was what you consider a brokey, right? So being able to look at Demaryius Thomas, Von Miller, D. Ware over there with Peyton having a good time, I'm just like, oh, that'd be a cool table to sit at. But for me, I think just want to shine light on 2 guys that really meant a lot to me, which is Demaryius Thomas and Ronnie Hillman, right? 2 guys that aren't here with us right now, but really put a lot towards the team, gave a lot of character, gave a lot of insight, man. And so it's really just a laughs with everybody. It's you can't pick one moment, but it's really just having the laughs, having the teammate, and just understanding who everybody was, but also being able to learn. Because as you know, in the NFL, guys have full-blown families, right? And so we actually get a chance to get together, eat, talk, learn, right? Everybody was cool with sharing. I remember Robert Ayers came into the locker room, and as a rookie, when you come in, everybody's like, oh, this guy's going to take your spot, or you got to be careful, tell him the wrong play. But he just took me under his wing, which made me a lot more of a benevolent leader. So when I got older, I would just tell guys what the play was, help them out as much as I can, and, push myself to say, well, they can't take my spot, right? And so it was just a great team.
You also played in Philly for the Eagles. There's still some guys there that you know.
Yep.
Well, from what you've seen, from what you know about the people involved, what's going on? right now with the Eagles?
I just think it's just it's any given Sunday. It's been tough because they lost 2 tough games, right? One was a blocked field goal. The other was a drive at the end by the Broncos. And so, yeah, it's just been 2 tough losses. But I think, as a lot of people, like analysts and we know as players, but everybody else has to realize, you truly win or lose a game by the mistakes. So if they can just cut down the mistakes, the little mistakes, they'll be fine.
Did you ever see Jalen Hurts come out of his shell when you were there?
Not really, man. He was just a quiet young kid, rookie when I came there. When he came in, just quiet, doing his thing, waiting for his turn. So he's very even keeled, very. I wanted to rile him up, but he's just chilled, just as cool as the other side of the pillow.
What's it been like watching Carson Wentz through these past years? The first guy ever to start for 5 different teams or 6, whatever the number is, in consecutive seasons.
Yeah, I mean it's been an interesting year for me watching these quarterbacks get second chances, right? The Sam Darnolds of the world, the Mac Jones of the world, right? These guys get drafted high, and then next thing you know, they're on the couch or preferably backing somebody up, right? And they want more. So to see Carson really get a second opportunity and actually take the bull by the horns and do good, man, it's cool to see, because I know he wants that.
How difficult is that? Obviously, you didn't play quarterback, but there's pressure on everybody coming into the league, right? And there's some guys who, especially if they're high draft picks, and then their first, game, season, couple of seasons, they're not making impact performances. There's this constant deluge of social media reaction and fans and people sending them messages about you suck and you're a bust. I'm sure you weren't in that category, thankfully, but I'm sure you were around guys. How do you deal with that in the locker room? I
mean, it's tough, right? Because I'll tell you my personal story. So I came from Denver, went to Jacksonville. I was still the guy. You go to Philadelphia next. You become a guy. Why they have Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, right? They have their draft picks. So now you're seeing myself like, okay, this is interesting when you're a backup, right? Then you have Javon come in, Hargrave come in, right? And so now coach is like, hey, tell him he's starting. And I'm like, what the hell? So it's one of those things that, it takes a lot out of you, but you just learn to be a team player. You understand your role, you understand what you have to do, and you make the best out of your opportunities when you get out there. So, and then I go to Cleveland, and I'm still the guy, but the body was breaking down, and the play wasn't where it's meant to be. So that's when I was like, you know what, I'm done.
You mentioned Jacksonville in there, and I was thinking about this morning, because you were there when there was chaos. So it was in 2016, right? They fired Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator pretty early in the season. Gus Bradley gets fired late in the season. Yesterday we had the first head coach firing in the NFL this season, with the Titans firing Brian Callahan 6 games in. Does it make a difference in the locker room? What is the ripple effects? You hear that news, and is anything changeable once the train has left the station in the season?
Not really. That's why I don't understand the whole midseason firings, right? They treat it like soccer, where you just get rid of these guys, bring a new manager in. But it really doesn't change anything in the locker room, because at the end of the day, we still have to do what we have to do. And the position coaches are the same. The scheme's going to stay the same. So you just got to go out there and really just try to play for the new coach, right? And do your job, because at the end of the day, what's Titans? Did they win a game yet? They're 0-5 right now?
They're 1-5. They won the game where the Cardinals had a 21-3 lead, and then Amari DeMarcado dropped the ball on the goal line and turned it into a Titans win. So, yes, they would be 0-6 if not for that.
But I think you have to understand, too, you got a rookie quarterback, right, who needs development. We came from the days when an Aaron Rodgers was sitting behind a Brett Favre for a few years, right? And so gone are those days where quarterbacks get to watch, sit, and understand what the speed of the game looks like, and learn from somebody that's a Hall of Famer. So, I think they should have gave Coach Callahan some more time, but it's the NFL, man, and some heads roll. Shit. Oh, sorry, never mind.
We're on Disney Plus. It's okay. We'll scrub that in the post production. When you look at the current state of line play in the NFL, are there defensive linemen who every time you see a highlight, you're like, that's it. That's the dude. Man,
it's funny enough. Calais Campbell, right? Great friend, ex-teammate. I'm just still amazed by how he's out there walking the way he walks, how big it looks like every step he takes hurts. But to see him, I watching the game, got a sack, arm over, I was like, man, this guy's still exactly who he is, right? So for me, I'll tell him, like, hey, man, retirement's fun, come hang out, but he's still playing at a high level, so I don't know if he's going to try to get another 3 years in. We'll see.
Hey, he's unbelievable, because he's the biggest human you're ever going to meet. Just he's so tall. I mean, I think he's listed at 6'7" or something. He seems taller than that. But just like this naturally massive dude with a really deep voice. Like he's one of those guys that you feel like if he wants to play till 45, he might be able to do it. But it's a very rare thing. You get to Cleveland, you know your body's breaking down. Like there's not many guys, if it's genetic or whatever it is, who can go that long.
Nah, it's funny enough. When he first got there, we got together in Jacksonville, and I'm watching do stuff, and I tried to do an arm over like he does, and got punched in the chest. I was like, whew, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So it's just funny to watch guys and see what they do and try to make it your own, right? But I mean, I love Calais, man. I'm hoping the best for him. You know, hope he stays healthy and can keep going as long as he wants to. You know, now granted, this isn't Elysium where you can lay on a table and everything's fixed. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's going to be dealing with some stuff, but man, he knows how to handle himself, take care of his body, and perform at a high level.
Malik Jackson is with us in studio here. There was an incident at the end of the Sunday night game with the Chiefs and the Lions, if you saw it. Brian Branch, wasn't thrilled with being pushed in the back earlier in the game by Juju Smith-Schuster and decided to blow off the quarterback, go and punch Juju in the head. Were you ever inclined, or did you ever have to, let's say, finish the job post-game?
There were a few times. I know to remember two times where one was like Taylor Lewan right there in Jacksonville. We're playing them on a Thursday night. He's just chirping. You know, they're running zone schemes and everything. We just got beat fairly well. And, you know, at the end of the game, I told him, meet me on the 50. And, you know, we got there, but he was a lot nicer then. So I couldn't just attack him, right? And then there was, the tight end for the Arizona Cardinals, Grisham, back in the day. We were getting after it. And luckily back then cameras weren't everywhere, especially after the game, everything cut, right? And so you kind of, have a few words and then get out of there. So, I think what Branch did was he stood on business. And it's one of those things, everybody can understand. Not everybody's, push aroundable. So let's keep it within the lines. Let's play the game. But, you saw the bloody nose he had, so.
So when you say somebody was nicer to you once you met at the 50.
Yeah.
Is it full apology mode? What did you hear
that
made you
smiles.
not have to?
He was all smiles, like, hey, and I was like, nah, I'm not with that. Let's go. And he was like, they won. He's like, nothing to fight about, right? It was just his character and how he gets in the game and moves, from his Michigan days or whatever. So there was no apologies. It was just like, oh, what's up, man? All smiles. And so I had to kind of calm it down a little bit. So, yeah.
There's some guys who probably are a lot better at turning that off instantly than other guys.
Yeah, but me, I was just so turned up. I was like, nah, I'm not hearing that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So right now, we brought this up earlier in the show. If you go back and you look at the betting favorites going into the 2020 NFL season, end of August, who are the people that people are putting money on? It was the Ravens, it was the Eagles, it was the Bills.
Yeah.
Who all have some level of issues right now. The Ravens are 1-5. Obviously, the Bills and Eagles both 4-2, but not perfect teams right now. Is there a favorite in your mind? You're picking one team you wouldn't want to be seeing in January and February?
Might be a wild card, but I'm really hoping the Jaguars can get it going. I think the Shaheed Khan and the family want to see them get a ring, right? We got close, but NFL's rigged. Sorry, I don't know who said that. But, I just think that...
Brockman's a Patriots fan. He might have a few things to say about that AFC Championship game, which you guys were leading in the third quarter.
We had it, and then we had some... Miles Jack was down. Miles Jack wasn't down. You know what I mean? But, when you're making rules for guys in the middle of a game, anyway, I'm hoping the Jaguars can get it done.
Brockman, your response to that? I'm sure you remember that game. You were throwing things at the TV and probably until that play.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take the rings out of my ears. Hold on a second.
I didn't know he was on a team.
No. He's on Team Buffet during the game. That's where Brockman is.
They hate us because they ain't us. I mean, what do you want me to say to that? He's way bigger than me. I'm not going to talk any smack.
The week before that, though, it is still the wildest NFL game I've ever covered in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And this was Blake Bortles as the quarterback. You guys had a talented team.
Yep.
Fournette was on that team. Jalen Ramsey was on that team. Obviously, you guys up front were really good defensively. But, everyone forgets that game, in part because immediately after it, the Minneapolis Miracle game was on, which now is still played everywhere, and Stephon Diggs making the play. Even though I live in Minneapolis, I was in Pittsburgh going, this is the wild. It was 45-42. a score that Calais, when I interviewed him a few days before, just threw out there, was like, hey, I don't care if we win 60-0 or 45-42. A score that had never happened, and then they won 45-42. Calais sees me in the locker room after, he's like, hey, you go find that tape. I said 45-42. And I had our people go and find the tape. He called the score. But there was no reason to think this Jaguars team was going to go into Pittsburgh and win. But there was something about that group, especially the way that you guys were on defense. Like, you made it hard on everybody every single week.
Yeah, we were just a rough ragtag group. You thought Denver had a loud, boisterous. Imagine a bunch of Aqib Talibs out there right in the back end, and then guys with something to prove on their shoulders in the front end, and the D-line, the linebackers, right? Telvin Smith, Calais, Avery Jones. So Dante Fowler, who's still doing it.
Right? I mean, there was a lot of dudes.
It was a lot of good dudes there. So, we were just, the ski mask versions. We were out there, didn't care. We're out here pushing people around and, saying and doing things you can't say on Disney Plus. But, it was
it was fun. The code. I say just go for it now.
Let me say it.
No, let's not. Tell me real quick before I let you go. What else are you up to now?
So for me, once I retired, I just realized that everybody gives their all to their business, their family, their mission, right? But there's no care given back to them in the same level. And so what I did was went out there and created the Care League. We're a concierge lifestyle and wellness company, really looking to give access connections back to whether you're an athlete in retirement, executive running a company, or a parent just trying to figure it out. Just let you guys know that we have your back and everything, whether it be health and wellness, connections, or lifestyle needs. So that's what I'm working on now. I understand truly the access and the support that we get from NFL. When you're in an NFL and when that's taken away, you're lost, right? You're a novice. So I realize that I can give this type of service to everybody and keep athletes thriving in retirement.
Great seeing you again, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Likewise, I appreciate you guys.
Flash that ring one more time at Brockman on your way out. Malik Jackson, everybody, Super Bowl champ with us in studio right now.